Hey guys, welcome back. RDG Ricky. So, guys, hey, once again, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button. Let me know what you guys think. So, we're officially into the most interesting part. Pretty close. I'd say free agency is probably the most interesting, but I would say as far as early in the offseason interesting goes, and that is the actual NFL combine. There is no other combine in sports that is televised, that is talked about, and is actually viewed and discussed more than the NFL combine is. And for very many and various reasons. To me, it's just funny. It's the season of people taking too much stock into measurements, which, listen, if you're a prospect, you welcome some of those measurements because let's say Billy Joe Bob has a 12-foot hand. Obviously, I am exaggerating by a lot. He's got a 12-foot hand. He can catch anything he wants. You know, he can catch these feelings. He can catch these hands, whatever, right? He's going to catch anything you throw to him, right? That is a thought. With the quarterback's hand size, another thing. He's got a big hand. Maybe he jerks off a lot. No, not really. But he's got a big hand. That means that they can't strip the ball as easy from him, which, listen, we all know it doesn't really matter. Yeah, does it help you probably grip the ball? But there's no scientific evidence or data to back that up. So it is also the season of hysteria. And sometimes prospects get a little bit boosted and go skyrocketing off the draft board. And you know, and then you get the reaches. You get the teams that reach. They give away draft picks and they overextend themselves and leave themselves vulnerable and get themselves a bust. So, guys, I want to relate to you. Now, this is probably going to be a targeted audience, which I'm okay with. But I'm going to tell you guys what I believe the Buffalo Bills should do, right? We all know, I think it's no secret, the Buffalo Bills need to score more points in 2020 if they want to not only win a majority of their games in 2020, but to be postseason contenders. No, because at this point, your expectations should change, right? We are now shifting gears and going into a different level. This franchise should be going up and taking it one more notch, right? So we'll start off, you bring in the GM, Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott, right? You clean house, right? You bring them guys in. Terry and Kim Pagula, you guys made a mistake with your first head coaching hire. Let's get rid of Rex Ryan. You know, he's a bum. We got it. Let's bring in guys we can trust, right? So they clean house. They clean the salary cap. They draft potentially what you think is your franchise quarterback. They make the defense elite, one of the top units in all of football, and have been for the last 3 seasons under Sean McDermott. So you have that. So then now it is time for you. You made the playoffs, right? 2 or 3 years. Now it's time to make noise in the playoffs. And they were this close to advancing and, in my opinion, being ahead of schedule. But the train has not gotten off the tracks yet. I still think they are right into where their plan lays. Would it have been nice to squeak out that win versus the Texans? Hell yeah. But listen, all good things take time, right? Not too much damn time. I ain't got time to waste. But you got to give good things and you got to let things develop and plans to materialize. So look for the Buffalo Bills to fortify their offensive weapons. What I would like to see in the offseason, and this is all pending what they do, because the problem is the plan changes depending on what you do on free agency. What I would like to see for them to do, first of all, go get yourself a tight end, right? I mean, even though I like Dawson Knox, he's still young. Get yourself a proven tight end. You can run, if you want to run more 2 tight end sets, good. So be it. They can still be receivers. That's more of a modern, football offense. I'm cool with that. Or most importantly, get yourself a very good, skilled wide receiver. Now, would I be lying if I'm saying I'm a little biased towards getting a tall guy? I would like to have a taller guy. They have, generally speaking, short receivers. It would always be nice to get yourself that big, tall, athletic guy that can go up and get it, so to speak. Not that you want to throw out 50-50 balls. You don't want your offense to be nothing but jump balls, the same basketball, right? You still want methodical and you still want smart play, right? But it always would be nice when you get yourself in a pickle. You may throw one a little high or whatever. You got a guy that can just snatch you out of the air. You know what I mean? They need to get themselves a guy like a Micah. I know they don't grow on trees, right? But make a trade. Julio Jones, I know it's been rumored a couple years ago. I know he's not going over. Get yourself like a Julio Jones, even if you got to trade a prospect. Stephon Diggs, his name has been heavy and has been thrown out there very heavily since last year. While the Vikings front office has come out and said, we have no plans on trading him. Well, the Buffalo Bills also had no plans on releasing LaShawn McCoy, and he was going to be their backup until they actually just released him. So I believe any player is available for the right price. Give my man Stephon, give the Vikings a second round pick, maybe a fifth complimentary, and get yourself Stephon Diggs, a guy that has a small, his contract is not very large, $11 million. He's still got a couple years left on that deal. That is a steal for that guy. Get yourself a proven commodity to go along with John Brown, Cole Beasley, and the rest of that offense. And you should see, as long as Josh Allen takes another step in the right direction, you should see an uptick in points in a guy that you can count on. Let's go on to the next thing. If they don't get a guy in free agency or trade for a guy, then I think you absolutely need to make sure in your first or second round you get yourself a weapon. Now, I would like to see the Buffalo Bills make a run at receiver in the first round. Unfortunately, with the projection of it being so deep, and people saying, well, you can probably wait a little longer and get your one on the tail end. Well, you want to get your guy. You want to get your guy, a guy that may have the groundbreaking skill you need to elevate your team to the next level. And generally, those guys they come out early, and it seems like these guys at the combine right now, they're absolutely, like I've talked before, they are soaring up people's draft boards. Someone like a Henry Ruggs, a guy that's an elite speed. It seems like a lot of teams are going more towards a Tyreek Hill type. I mean, a guy that's lightning quick, can run good routes, and he's not just a guy that you're going to say, go run down the field and I'll throw it and then, just run up under it. No, you're talking about guys that are fast, elite route runners that have good hands. I think if you're the Buffalo Bills, you need to make it. Brandon Beane has said it. They need to score more points. This is no secret to anybody. You need to fortify that offense. It needs to happen. And you need to make a move in the first or second round. So if you're not going to do it in the draft or in the free agency or you got to do it in the draft one way or another, the Buffalo Bills need to get themselves another good receiver. That way they have a solid starting three. Next thing I think they need to fill as far as the void. The Buffalo Bills need to find themselves a consistent starter alongside Tre'Davious White. Now, Trey White, so underrated. I don't care what anybody says. The guy should have won Rookie of the Year. The guy should have won Defensive Player of the Year. And the guy, I mean, it's just bananas to me that he's not even a consideration for Defensive Player of the Year. Hats off to you, Stephon Gilmore. You've had a good season. Great season. But my man didn't give up a touchdown all year. And he's not even a consideration? I mean, Stephon Gilmore and Trey White's numbers were very comparable. Not one really had up the edge on them all year. And I think what separated them was the fact that Trey White gave up no touchdowns. I mean, John Brown torched Stephon Gilmore on the one double move, and then, of course, he's going to say it was a schematical error. Nah, bitch, you just got played. You got put on ice skates, and he took you deep. That's all there is to it. Now, they need to get themselves, because what happened was, while the season developed, Levi Wallace was playing well. Kevin Johnson played well, but Levi Wallace being the primary starter, teams started throwing more his way, and he was getting a little bit exposed. And I'm not sure if it was just in his head or what, because it just seemed like he became a little bit different. And I'm not saying he's weak-minded or anything like that, but I think it just shows that it's still a position of need, which I thought was maybe a strength. Well, not necessarily. So if they're not going to re-sign Levi Wallace or Kevin Johnson, there's talks about Josh Norman out there. I don't know. I think to me what the Buffalo Bills are going to ultimately end up doing, and they've done it the last couple drafts, they get a defensive guy in the first round. And I think that's what's going to happen. Guys, I know I'll be a little bit sick about it too, but But listen to this idea. Just think about this. If the Buffalo Bills go on and they get another starting corner, potential starting corner, alongside Stephon Gilmore, Trey White. So you get a guy essentially on a rookie contract for another 4 to 5 years, right? You're just going to have to now pay Trey. But then you're going to have, if he develops, you're going to have 2 shutdown corners for the price of 1, for the low. You can't beat that, ladies and gentlemen. You can, and you can still sign yourself a Levi Wallace. I think that's what the Buffalo Bills will do, and then they will probably trade back up in the second round and get themselves a receiver. I think that's what's going to happen. Am I ecstatic about that? No, I just say let's just forget about it altogether, and let's just go ahead and trade for Stephon Diggs. Get you a guy like him. You don't have to worry about the what ifs. I want a guy that's a proven commodity to come in and help out a young receiving core. Just do that. I think that's the easiest way to do it. So then another thing that needs addressed is the defensive line. We don't know what they're going to do with Jordan Phillips. I love Jordan Phillips. Ever since he was picked off waivers from the Dolphins, he's been nothing but an injection of excitement into the franchise, into the defensive locker room. He has been a great addition. Did he have a marvelous season? Fuck yes, he did. Is the guy worth what he thinks he's worth? At this point, unfortunately, I'd have to say no. I don't think right now he's worth, Ndamukong Suh money. He needs to have another year. What I would like to see is if Buffalo can go ahead. I mean, they got the cap space. If Buffalo would go ahead and give him a deal, another 1 year deal, prove himself, and then if it pans out, he has another year, then okay, if you want to keep him, then you need to pay the man, right? But I think it's still too soon. He only had 1 really good season. And while all the numbers back up and say that he has the potential to be a very, very great player, paying him like 15, 16, 17 million a year right now in a defense and where they use a lot of rotation, that's not a very smart move. And you got Harrison Phillips coming back, and then you got Ed Oliver that's going to be coming back. I just don't know about all that. And then you also got Star Lotulelei in there. There's a lot of money wrapped into there. So it's interesting to see what they're going to do there. I would like to see him back, but at the same time, Buffalo might just try to get someone for the low. Maybe Damon Snacks Harrison's out there. You never know. The other area of concern is the defensive end position. It's not good enough. I love Jerry Hughes. I like him. I think he's done great. He's not the elite upper echelon defensive end, but he's a guy that goes in and he works for you. He makes it happen, right? On the other side of him, though, Shaq Lawson had a career year. He was great. He was energetic. He was great in rotation there with Trent Murphy. But I feel like you need to get better there. You need to do it. A lot of the teams are starting to do that. Khalil Mack with the Bears, they made a move for him. Jadeveon Clowney on the move. Get yourself a Jadeveon Clowney. Get yourself a guy that can wreck a game at any moment with a strip sack or a fumble, whatever you need. You need a guy like that can get to the quarterback aggressively. You just do. You can't let the quarterback sit back there all day comfortable in the pocket. You need a guy that can win one-on-one matchups consistently. That is where I would say Buffalo, open up that wallet for Yannick Ngakoue, please. I don't think he's not gonna hit the market like that. The Jaguars would be stupid to let the guy go without placing a tag on him. I think they're going to place a tag on Yannick Ngakoue, and they're going to ask for draft picks. And if I'm Buffalo, I'm making the draft picks. I'm leery about maybe this year's one, maybe a future, but you at least package a couple picks, maybe a player if you have to. But Yannick Ngakoue, that's a guy that the Buffalo Bills should prioritize to try and get. Do everything you can. I'm not going to say you're going to give up your whole future for him, but that's a guy that you need to be aggressive and go after and get it done, Buffalo. So if Buffalo can fortify their defensive line, right, get yourself another solid stud pass rusher. Fortify and put a solid option opposite of Trey White. Get yourself at least one, if not two more solid receiver. Get yourself maybe an elite that's already in the league, like a Stephon Diggs. Or get yourself a very good prospect coming out of college. And I think Buffalo Bills can make that one more step that they need. So the expectation should shift from making the playoffs to winning a playoff game and then potentially winning multiple and making a run. Guys, this is my thoughts on the Buffalo Bills offseason and what they should do. I'm off for now. See you guys later.